Hello, this is my review of the Camtree or City or Pro Aim Geared Head, which I received a couple of weeks ago. And I have to say right off the top, the idea of having a geared head at the price offered by Camtree is unfathomable. It's unreal that they would be able to produce this for such a low-priced amount. The one that it's modeled after is upwards of 3,000. I think it usually goes for 2,500, and then there'd be extensive shipping fees. And so this is modeled after the CPM head. The thing that I noticed right away is that the cradle can be loose because some of the parts are just not quite tight enough. For instance, on the rollers here, I've temporarily added a spacer with this ring clamp here and also over here in order to reduce and eliminate any play whatsoever. So if you find that there's a bit of wobble, you can add these ring clamps, at very least temporarily. In the future, I hope to get some sort of solid ring to slide over these rollers, because there was all too many times gaps between the rollers and the gear in the cradle. The other thing that I modified was I found that the handles that come with the head are weighted to one side because the handle is metal but the wheel is nylon or like a high grade composite of some sort, but more or less plastic. But what happens is when you're on the downturn, you have to make an effort to reduce the speed because the handle is weighted and it's dropping forward, and then on the upturn you're having to put more pressure. So what I'm saying is you can't evenly turn this wheel and get an even movement because it's throbbing fast, slow, because it's almost impossible to keep up with the weight compensation with your hand. So what I did is ordered these wheels, and for those interested, I can tell you where to get them. They're actually really reasonably priced from a machinist company in the United States, but these are equally weighted all the way around and have a polished metal handle. Now they have a whole variety of these, but you have to be very, very specific as to which ones you order. But the bottom line is this moves perfectly evenly, and also the extra weight of the wheel, it enables you to turn the wheel ever so slightly without jarring it. With the plastic ones, you have to give it, because the weight of the wheel is lighter than this, or much lighter, you have to give it a sudden jerk to get it moving, and therefore you have bad movement in your camera move. But once I made these modifications, it's a beautiful thing. I will say, however, that on shipping, if I left the head the way it was, the average fluid head would perform much better. So until you make these modifications, which cost nothing compared to the savings that you get with buying a Camtree product like this, the geared head, until you make those modifications, you might as well be using a fluid head, to be totally honest. But like I said, overall nothing will come close to price and performance with this Camtree geared head. And I will emphasize, as most of you probably know who are considering these, this is like a musical instrument. You don't just use it, you have to learn it and you have to practice it many hours. I'm not even there yet. It takes a heck of a lot of coordination, and once you get it, you'll have the camera moves of a typical and high-end feature film or blockbuster. Anyway, I want to thank Camtree and ProAim for making the effort to put this thing together, and like I say, with a bit of modification, it really does perform. By the way, these wheels were only $30 each, so very, very reasonable. If you want, you can get ones that have the fold-away handle, but they cost a lot more, upwards to $80 each, and they're really, really beautiful, fine ones that are steel, or not steel, but stainless steel, are actually $300 each. So you can go from $30 to $300 to select these wheels that bring it up to par with at very least a CPM head. And just to note too that the other competing head, its name has dropped from my memory. I can't remember what it's called, but it's 7,000. So you either go with this one or you're going for a $7,000 head, which will give you a free wheel, meaning you can spin it and it will keep turning. This won't give you free wheel, but it will, meaning you can't spin it and it turns by itself fluidly like a $100,000 fluid head, like an Arri or Panahead. But it will give you the precision with a bit of practice. There are no alternate gears, and which is another reason that you want these weighted, so you have more control, because you can't simply change the gears like you can on a Pro head. Okay, thanks for your time. Bye-bye.